And so in my house, just over there, actually, in this very chair, I said what I needed to say, and became a Muslim, and it was great. I felt that I had made a very worthy decision. There was a little bit of trepidation because I knew that friends and family would not understand. For those who have no exposure to people who are Muslims, it would seem like a crazy decision. But I felt elation. It felt like I'd been walking in a long, dark corridor and opened the door and just gone, I can sort of let my breath out now and start on the journey again, because I felt I'd kind of lost my way along the way. So it was a great experience to go through. There were varied responses to my reversion to Islam. My family my parents, who I told first, were extremely upset. They were completely mortified. And let me say that since then they have certainly been loving, and although they don't necessarily understand my decision, they have been very supportive. But initially, for my father and mother especially, it was a very difficult decision, because for them, for what they believe in Christianity, it's a struggle for them, because they think I might end up in hell. So obviously they were very upset. My friends the reactions varied from amusement to anger, and some of them were just incredulous that I would make that decision, and they thought it was a crazy decision. It was a very interesting time. Islam has definitely changed my lifestyle. Like I say, some of the changes that Islam, the way of life that it encourages, some of the things that Islam encourages, with things that I had taken on anyway, giving up alcohol, not going out and being crazy the whole time, and that carry on. Those are the sort of values that I had previously. So Islam has reinforced those beliefs for me. The praying 5 times a day is a discipline I have not as yet mastered, but it's a great discipline. It's it's just like a reminder throughout the day. You just can't get away from not thinking about Allah or God, because you're constantly reminded. Fasting, the 2 years that I've done so far, changes you in ways you can't describe. It's unusual, but you definitely come out a different person from fasting. Interaction with women has definitely changed, because Islam demands a lot more respect for women, and that women be treated with care and with respect and the honour that they deserve for the place that they have in society, and not the cheap way that maybe some other sectors of society may treat women. It's definitely meant some. They're not sacrifices necessarily, but just changes in lifestyle. The Kiwi lifestyle, obviously Islam originated in the desert and in the Middle East, and in New Zealand there's not a huge amount of Muslims, so there's always a bit of, you might go to a barbecue and people can't quite understand why you're bringing your own meat, or that you don't want to cook it on their barbecue or whatever. So that's always an interesting one, but it's overall been very, very positive changes. I think anyone that, even if they disagreed with my decision initially, would say that the changes have been positive. Yeah. So at work, I don't choose to tell people I'm a Muslim straight up. I prefer they find out by some action or something I may say or do, because I think that's a much better experience for getting to know Islam, or getting to know any belief for that matter. So it's been interesting, because At work, I have a reasonably high stress job, and things can get pretty heated. And you're always keeping in the back of your mind, I need to represent Islam very well here, but be real about what I'm doing. So it's had an impact. It's difficult to get away and pray during the day, and I need to be encouraged to do that by my friends, and I think, it's just taught me that you've got to be open with some people about it and just say, this is something I need to do, and they respect that. Being brought up as a Kiwi and living in Kiwi society and being a Muslim has its issues, because one of them is that Kiwi women are a lot more outspoken than generally anywhere else in the world, and that's a good thing. And I think the relationships we have as Kiwis are very, everyone is equal and everyone is on that same level, and I just think we have taken down some of those boundaries between male and female, and I actually think some of them are appropriate to be there. So as a Muslim, I always have in my mind to keep a little bit of distance between myself and a female, not necessarily physically, but that I do not look at her in a certain way, because as Kiwis we are so open with our emotions, and I find that as young single men and women that often can lead to issues, or it may lead to boundaries being crossed which shouldn't be crossed. And so I think that's an interesting one. People don't necessarily understand that at first. They may find that you're a little bit standoffish, because we're an open people. Does it actually conflict with anything from me being a Kiwi? I don't think so. I just think you look at things in a different way. I probably don't bear as much flesh as I used to, or I feel a little uncomfortable when I go to the beach and see people, ladies in bikinis and things, only because I have in my mind that I don't really want to look at them that way. And that's probably more something that, for me to deal with, not necessarily for them to deal with. And yeah, I think Islam does fit into Kiwi culture, because we were a people that came out of hardship as well, and that really carved society out of quite a hard environment, as they did in the Middle East. So I think we do have a lot of things in common. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.